Hey, this is Riley with Narcade, and we're going to dive into our first ever review with Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. The fan-favorite fight franchise has always been a huge moneymaker for Nintendo, but the arrival of this installment marks the first entry in the series' long and illustrious history that gamers can finally take their mascot-fueled beat-em-up on the road. This is something that gamers have wanted since the Game Boy era. So is Super Smash Bros. For 3DS worth your hard-earned cash? The answer is an undeniable yes, but that's not to say that the title is without its shortcomings. There's not much to dislike about the premise of Super Smash Bros. Players suit up as any one of a number of iconic combatants in order to pummel other well-known gaming figures. Dream matchups like Mario vs. Mega Man or Pac-Man vs. Sonic are finally within arm's reach, and therein lies the initial appeal of the franchise. Setting a pace that falls between Melee and Brawl, the latest iteration of Smash Bros. Immediately establishes its own distinct feel. The end result is a game that caters to the demands of the hardcore audience while still retaining the pickup and playability that kickstarted the entire series' immense popularity. One major aspect about appealing to a universal audience comes from the expansive roster that can be found within the game. Even with unlockable characters that brings the total to 49 different combatants, there are some redundant clone fighters that fail to prove their worth. Combine that with the removal of the Ice Climbers and a severe lack of other fan favorites like Mewtwo, and some may not be pleased. Regardless, it's an impressive lineup of fighters, and there's no shortage of variety found throughout. This extensive selection of fighters is sure to give players a character that fits their playstyle, but it goes deeper than that. Another big addition that makes its debut in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS is the ability to customize characters. Players are able to swap out Smash attacks with one of 3 options, provided they've unlocked them, and they can then alter the attributes of fighters by decking them out in equipment. Both additional attacks and equipment can be found while playing through the single-player classic mode or completing challenges, and they allow for players to modify the title how they see fit. There's no shortage of modes to tear through either. The classic mode makes its triumphant return in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, but this time with a twist. Putting a greater emphasis on collecting coins, players are now able to raise the difficulty of their playthrough, while forcing them to put their money where their mouth is. Charging players pretend money to participate, raising the difficulty offers big risks for even bigger rewards. Additional gold, trophies, characters, and more can only be earned on the higher difficulty setting, making it a much more in-depth and appealing option for longtime fans. All-Star Mode also returns, and this time the option is available right from the beginning, allowing players to take a trip down memory lane by fighting combatants in an order that's established by the date of their real-world debut. Smash Run is the new mode that makes its exclusive debut on the 3DS, and it's a fun option featuring a ton of characters from a plethora of franchises. The premise of this mode is to defeat enemies before being thrown into a random challenge against a handful of other combatants. It makes for a fun and enlightening look at the rich history behind the characters of the Super Smash Bros. Series. Last but not least, there's online play. Nintendo offers several options for online battling with Super Smash Bros. On 3DS. Whether playing in the for fun or for glory options, connectivity isn't consistent. Some matches are fluid and go off with little to no lag, while others stutter and chug along like a tragic retelling of the little engine that could. I've played against homegrown talent and residents of Japan, but found the same issues throughout my time. While the online option wasn't up to snuff during my time with it, non-online play runs smoothly, with the fighters moving at 60 frames per second. Yes, the 3DS is being pushed to its limit, but the game itself is limited by the hardware it's on at times. Extended play caused my hands to cramp up, and the circle pad impedes on the game's ability to be as technically compelling at times. Still, it's a blast. Super Smash Bros. Is a hard game to put down, and making it portable only makes the series more accessible to impulse play sessions. The desire to unlock new moves, equipment, trophies, and characters kept me coming back. The game hits so many of the right chords that it's impossible to not recommend. Smash may be limited by the hardware it's on, but it's still an awesome game that anyone can pick up and play. For Narcade's review, I give Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS an 8 out of 10. Thank you for tuning in to our first ever review. We look forward to seeing you in the comments.